Okay, welcome back. I hope you did it. Don't be bluffing me now. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm not just gonna give you the scales, but I'm gonna introduce what I promised to introduce in the last segment. I'm gonna introduce what we call the number system. Drum roll. This is the most important thing, one of the most important things you need to get out of the Fundamental Factory DVD, the number system. Because I'm tired of getting emails from people saying, I don't know what the numbers mean. I don't know what the 251 is. I don't know what the 736251 chord pattern is. I don't know what the 1-4 turnaround is. And I say, you know your major scales? Yeah, but I don't get it. I say, you know how to number your scales? Meaning if there's 7 notes in a scale, do you know how to say, this is the first note, this is the second note, this is the third note of the scale, this is the fourth note? They say, yeah. And I say, then what's the problem? Because the numbers come from the scale, okay? So let's go back to the key of C. Before I explain all the different other scales, let's go to key of C. So you know the major scale because we did Why Won't He Wear White When Hot. You know that it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You know, C is like earth, you know, earth. Because it's just easy. We familiar with it. It's all the white notes. There is no intertwining of the black and white notes in this key. Every other key there is. Every other key there is. But C happens to be like the bass, you know. Not too much acidic, not too much bass, or I don't know. What do you call the other level? I don't know. As you guys know, I didn't do well in chemistry. But C is just simple. It's right there in the middle. Okay, not necessarily easier than the other keys, but just the most familiar. Okay, now the only thing you have to do to understand the number system concept that is so prevalent in advanced playing is number it. C is the first tone of the C major scale. D is the second tone of the C major scale. E is the third tone of the C major scale. F is the fourth tone of the C major scale. G is the fifth tone of the C major scale. A is the sixth tone of the C major scale, and B is the seventh tone of the C major scale. And C, we're back, you know, to the first tone of the scale, not the eighth tone. You could, you know, 8 is a real number in music, but let's just call this the first tone. We're back to the square one. And then we can say that, you know, it doesn't matter if we're up here or we're down here. Remember what I said about the octave? It doesn't matter. We'll still call this the second tone of the scale, even though it's way up here. We're just talking about the letters. You need to understand that, okay? You need to be so good at it that if I say, what's the third tone of C? And, okay, I don't mean to introduce violence, but let's just say your life was gonna end if you didn't know the number system. Meaning, if somebody had like a bow and arrow, we'll use that since that doesn't seem as bad as a gun. But somebody had a bow and arrow, and they said, what is the third tone of C? And you had like 1 second, E, before they let go. You need to be like that if you want to be good in music. Okay, fourth tone of C, F, right? Sixth tone of C, A. Okay, you need to be really quick. It needs to be second nature. It can't be like, you know, let's just say I have a little cousin. I say, hey, what's the sixth tone of the alphabet? It can't be where you know it, but you have to sing the alphabet to get it. It can't be like, well, let me see. A, B, C, D, E. Oh, it's F. It's F, Uncle Jermaine. It can't be that way. You're not getting the process of music. You're not getting the patterns if it takes that long. It has to be where, and most people haven't memorized even the English alphabet as numbers. I don't even think I have. I can't tell you what's the 22nd letter of the alphabet, but you need to do that in music. Plus, there's only 7 of them really in every scale to memorize. So we're not talking about 26 letters like the alphabet. So you need to know first tone of C, second tone of C, third tone of C. You need to know first tone of F, second tone of F, third tone of F. You need to know B. Every world, remember 12, you need to know the numbers in every world. And it's not hard. It comes second nature as you just practice your scales every day. Okay, so your homework was to figure out the scales. Let me reveal the answers, but I'm going to reveal them using the number system. So let's go to the key of F. Key of F, F is the first tone. G is the second tone. A is the third tone. B flat is the fourth tone. C is the fifth tone. D is the sixth tone. E is the seventh tone. And of course, F is the first tone. Okay, let's go to the key of B flat. B flat is the first tone. C is the second tone. D is the third tone. E flat is the fourth tone. F is the fifth tone. G is the sixth tone. A is the seventh tone. And B flat, back at home, first tone. Let's go to the key of E flat. E flat is the first tone. F is the second tone. G is the third tone. A flat is the fourth tone. B flat is the fifth tone. C is the sixth tone. D is the seventh tone of the scale. And of course, we're back at the 1. This should be review because you did your homework. I'm just giving you the numbers, which you should know as well. Let's go to the key of A flat. A flat is 1. B flat is 2. C is 3. D flat is 4. E flat is 5. F is 6. G is 7. A flat is 1 again. Let's go to the key of D flat. D flat is 1. E flat is 2. F is the third tone. G flat is 4. A flat is 5. B flat is 6. C is the seventh tone. And we're back at home at D flat. Now let's go to the key of G flat. G flat is 1. A flat is 2. B flat is 3. Here's something. This is not B. This is C flat. Okay? And I'm going to explain that a little later. C flat is 4. D flat is 5. E flat is 6. F is 7. And G flat is 1. Let's go to the key of B. B is 1. C sharp is 2. D sharp is 3. Now you guys should know this. That's why I'm going a little faster. I'm just reviewing what you should have already figured out with Why Won't He Wear White When Hot. So B1, C sharp 2, D sharp is 3, E is 4, F sharp is 5, G sharp is 6, A sharp is 7, and B is 1. Let's go to the key of E. E is 1, F sharp is 2, G sharp is 3, A is 4, B is 5, C sharp is 6, D sharp is 7, and we're back at home at E. Let's go to the key of A. A is 1, B is 2, C sharp is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F sharp is 6, G sharp is 7. We're back at home at A. Let's go to the key of D. D is 1, E is 2, F sharp is 3, G is the fourth tone of this scale, A is the fifth tone, B is the sixth, C sharp is the 7, D is the 1. We're back at home. And the very last scale, G. G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, E is 6, F sharp is 7, and we're back at home. Wow, my lips are so dry because that is a lot of scales. Now, how do you get good? Repetition is the mother of skill is a common quote. You just have to do them. And you have to do them being cognizant of the numbers, okay? You can't let the numbers slide away. When you're playing, you want to be thinking, oh, I'm on the first tone of the scale. If you're playing, if you're in the key of C, but you're playing an E chord, like an E minor chord maybe, and you'll get into, for the people that know what that means. For the people that don't worry. We're going to get into that. But if you're playing an E minor chord, but you're in the key of C, in the world, in the planet of C, you're on the third tone of the scale. So it's not like when you're playing, you have to announce to people, hey, I'm on the third tone, everybody. I'm on the third tone. I'm going to the sixth tone, everybody. But it's just that in your mind, you're constantly thinking that. You're thinking, okay, I'm going from the 1. Ba, ba, I'm going to the 4. Ba, ba, I'm going to the 6. You're thinking of it. Just that little eensy-weensy diamond gem, that piece of advice will make you go far along in your music by ear playing, regardless of what genre you're in. Okay, so I promised to explain to you why we call this a C flat, because here's some rules that you need to keep in mind to be correct in your major scales. Major scales must use all the alphabet letters. You got that? Repeat that with me. Major scales must use all the alphabet letters, and they ascend by 1 alphabet letter every degree. So when we go up to the second tone of the scale, we go up to a new alphabet letter. When we go down an alphabet letter, okay? So in the case of G flat, what would have happened? Well, G flat, A flat, B flat. If we would have called this B, like we're used to, we've just used B flat and we use B. We've used the same alphabet letter. And then we would have called this D flat, so we would have totally skipped the alphabet letter C. You get that? If we would have called this B, we would have totally skipped the alphabet letter C, because eventually this would have been D flat, E flat, F, G flat. So we would have went from some kind of G, A, some kind of B. We would have skipped C, some kind of D, some kind of E, some kind of F, some kind of G. You can't do that. That's why C flat. And that's why I started this course by saying flat is not black keys. Sharp is not black keys. A white key can be flat, a white key can be sharp, a black key can be flat, a black key can be sharp. So in this case, B was C being lowered. That's why we call it C flat. You could double flat something. I've heard of triple flats. So you have to remember that concept, or else you would be thrown off. Wait, how can B be C flat? Well, flat is not a black key. Flat don't belong to nothing. Sharp don't belong to nothing. It's the act of doing something more so. It's the act of flatting the C to make it a B. Flatting something by a half step. So that's the concept. So you got the notes, you got the planets, you got the black keys, you got the white keys, you got the major scales, you got the whole steps, half steps, you got the white one here where white one hot. This is an intensive course. I told you Fundamental Factory was going to cover a lot.